Hi everyone, welcome to class 11 physics. We are studying chapter 2 units and measurement, and this is the part 3 video of our chapter. So let us start with the video topics. The first two topics will be accuracy and precision in measurements. We will understand this by some specific examples. Then we will move on to errors in measurements, and we will end this video with types of errors. So let us start with the first topic. Now the first topic is accuracy. Accuracy is the measure of how close the measured value was to the true value. You see, every measurement is limited by two things. The first thing is the measuring instrument, the limits of measuring instrument, and second is the skill of the person who is making the measurements, right? So every measurement is limited to the instrument and the skill of the person. Now, if we repeat a particular measurement, we usually do not get precisely the same result, right? Because there might be some imperfection in measurement, right? There might be some errors, there might be some uncertainty. Okay, so whenever we measure anything, we tend to find out how close we were or how close is our value to the true value, right? So if you are exactly on the true value, you are 100% accurate. If you are near, you are called accurate. Okay, so let us understand this with an example. Suppose there is a line whose exact measurement is 6.6 centimeter. Clear? We want to measure a line whose value is 6.6 centimeter. Now we have two students. Student A, here we have student A who takes the measurement and his answer comes out to be 6.5 centimeter. Clear? Now the same line is measured by student B, and he measures the same line with his own instrument and his value comes out to be 6.4, right? Now first case we see that both of the students are not 100% accurate, right? Because the true value was 6.6. But out of these two, which student was more near to the true value? So we can see that student A is more near to the true value. Hence, we can say that the measurement is more accurate of student A. So this is the meaning of accuracy. Clear? How close the measure value is to the true value. Clear? So now let us move on to the next one. Precision. Now, precision refers to the resolution or the limit to which the quantity is or can be measured, right? Now, let us take an international example. Okay. Now, remember, precision is directly related to the least count. Okay. What is the least count? The least or the smallest distance or smallest value of mass or time or whatever you can measure. Clear? So let us understand precision with a very nice example. Now here we have two great personalities. If two persons, Mr. Trump and Mr. Modi, are measuring the mass of China's missile. Okay, so such a heavy missile it is, and Mr. Trump measures the mass as exact 60 kilogram. Remember, 60 kilogram. Okay. Now Mr. Modi takes the same measurement of the missile and his measurement comes out to be 60 kilogram and 58 gram, right? Now see, Mr. Trump can measure only in kilograms, but Mr. Modi can measure in kilograms as well as grams. Okay, so who could measure up to more smaller unit? Right? So we know the answer, Mr. Modi. That means Mr. Modi is more precise. Okay. Now jokes apart, I hope you have understood that if you can measure up to more smaller unit, you are said to be more precise. Now let us see another example of precision. On the screen you see there is a clock on left hand side which can measure hours and minutes. So the minimum measurement that it can do for time is in minutes. Clear? On the right hand side we have a digital watch which can measure hours, minutes, as well as you can see it can also measure seconds. So if you compare which one out of these two can measure smaller unit of time, and obviously it is this digital watch. So out of these two, digital watch is said to be more precise. Clear? So precision is related to the minimum measurement, the least count of any measurement. If that instrument can measure more smaller measurements, then it is said to be more precise. Clear? Now moving on to the next topic, that is errors in measurement. Now every measurement is limited by the reliability of the measuring instrument and skill of the person, right? As we have already discussed this one. Now while making the measurement, some uncertainty gets introduced in the measurement. There is some inaccuracy that leads to a different value of measurement. So what happens, as a result the measured value is always somewhat different from the actual or true value, right? And that is how error arises, and if you want to know what is the error, how much is the error, you will have to subtract true value and measure value. Clear? So in general we have two classification of errors, systematic error and random error. Errors, those tend to be in one direction, either positive or negative. They are said to be systematic error. Now systematic error is further classified into instrumental errors, imperfection in experimental procedure error, personal error, right? So you see the title itself tells about the kind of error. If you are clear about the title, you will understand that how many types of errors or why these errors are arising. Like instrumental error, obviously it is related to the instrument. Clear? So these errors occur due to the inbuilt defect of the measuring instrument. For example, if you are measuring any length and the meter scale is having some damage, so that will create some problem. Okay. Suppose 0 is not showing properly, all right, and you are starting a measurement, so that can give you a different value, and that is how error arises. Clear? Now imperfection in experimental procedure error, a long name but it tells everything, right? That the experimental method, the process, the procedure that you are taking, that you have applied for the measurement, that procedure is having some problem. For example, in earlier times, temperature was measured by keeping thermometer between the armpits, right? But now it is placed below the tongue. So these values can give different values. This measurement techniques can give you different values. The one below tongue can give you a better result. So this procedure selection is very important. And lastly, personal error. Error arising due to individual biasness, lack of proper setting of apparatus, or individuals' carelessness, right? So these also affect the measurement, right? Bias means that any pre-thought that we keep while taking experiment, while doing experiment. Okay. Improper arrangement can also be there. That also depend on the skill, how much skillful the person is, and carelessness in taking the observations, that can also affect. Now moving on to the last type, that is random error, and these errors occur irregularly, they occur suddenly, right? uh, they are random in magnitude and direction, so that is why they are random error. So these errors, they arise due to irregular and unpredictable fluctuations or changing of factors which are affecting the measurement. They can be both positive and negative, and they can be estimated by taking more number of observations and taking average. Clear? if a person repeats the observation a number of times, then even though he is getting different reading, but the average will come near to the true value. So what we are doing, we are taking the mean of those observations. Clear? Also in our textbook we have least count error. Again, least count, minimum measurement, understand? So this error is due to the limitation imposed by the least count of the measuring instrument. Now what does that means? If you want to measure uh, up to seconds, if you are measuring time, and if you want to have the measurement of seconds, you cannot use a clock which is only measuring hours and minutes. So in that case, you can only measure the least measurement of minutes, but you actually wanted to measure seconds, which is not possible. So that is least count error, right? Also, there are some different kind of error. Uh, in different materials, you may get more number of classification, but till now it was perfect. And these many errors that we have discussed is enough. In the next video or in the next session, we will understand that how we can estimate the errors and how we can find out what was the error, and then we have to correct that error. Clear? So that's all for today. Thank you.